So you wake up in the morning, and Daryl has already put on his work clothes, and he comes up to you and he says, "Hey, I'm sorry, I don't have anything in the fridge." It's just sort of a pregnant pause there for a minute. I haven't gotten paid yet, since I'm going to work now. Stay safe. I'll see you when I get home. Okay? And with that, he heads out the door. Can checking the journal be a free action? Yes. There are no names that you don't recognize that you didn't already not recognize. Can we still check to see if the window is broken as a free action? So that was something you requested the Home Depot employees do, but it doesn't look like it has changed. So you brought your clothes with you. So we'll say you went ahead and took a shower, picked out your nicest Sunday clothes, and got the nicest outfit you can possibly manage. You just picture it in your head what Noah would appreciate to be the nicest outfit. Before heading out, however, you go ahead and call your parents and ask them if they remember Elise. So you call your parents. It's still fairly early in the morning, so no one picks up, but you remember who they are. So in the very least, that means that they exist, which is a positive. But, you know, obviously you were born at some point. So nothing happens as far as calling your parents goes. That is a bonus, in the very least. While heading to work, or heading to church, you run into Raymond, opening up the shop. He says, "Well, hello. Are you coming by for your morning appointment? I've set aside some time for you." So you ask him, "Can we reschedule?" And then you kind of cry a little bit, and you say, okay, well, can we reschedule?" Raymond says, "No." And then you cry a little bit. It's awkward for everyone. And you say, "Listen, man, I saw you tearing down Noah's flyers the other day. Are you trying to keep people out of church?" "Yes. And I can explain it to you more if you'd like to come on inside." A little jingle for the bell for the door opens. So he's intentionally scheduled this at the same time as church. Okay, so you cry. Crying is happening. Can we have a crying stat? No, crying is a free action and does not take a skill check to do. Like, you just start crying. Generally because this entire situation is stressing you out a bit. He's propped the door open for you because you're kind of just standing outside, like, having a fit and being upset. So he's just kind of left it propped open for you while he's getting the store ready. Getting, the lights turned on and the music going and all of that jazz. And you say, after a moment of crying, you say, "Okay, Raymond, I'll give you 10 minutes. Just give me the Cliff Notes or something. Is it personal or is it like a bad breakup or something?" So he's already, by this point, by the time you got done crying, set up, ready for you to, like, come inside and get your nails did. He comes back outside, noticing that you're still not coming inside. And he says, "Just look at your nails. What have you been doing? You're asking all these questions, and we're going to have to talk for a bit. Well, just come inside. Just for a moment." Mary shows up. Raymond says, "Miss Bennett, you'll have to excuse me. I know we have an appointment, but I have a special appointment here with Noah." "Well, that's quite all right. I went ahead and made myself some brisk Lipton tea this morning, and I am just as happy as a clam." He doesn't seem willing to just give you straight up the information without you having to sit down and get your nails did. I'm going to just make it get nails done. I'm just going to make a poll that's a little bit more binary so we can get, like, an idea. And generally speaking, it seems like the answer is yes, specifically for 1 hour, and then probably leaving as soon as that hour is up. So you'll be a little bit late to church, but you will be able to get your nails done, and you'll be able to go to church. So you head on in because that's where nails are done. Mary follows you inside. Mary sits down in one of the waiting spots while she waits for you to get your nails done, patiently just sipping on a cup of tea that she's brought with her for some reason. It's a free manicure that he offered to you. He begins like getting some stuff together and getting your nails stuff, the nail polish off, because it's all messed up because you were for some reason clawing at the walls of the prison cell, trying to use that as a way to get out or to communicate. So your nails are just chipped, like super hardcore, like more than just like the nail is grown out and like you can see the line where the paint isn't. But, you know, the Home Depot sigil, that was it. You were trying to communicate with the Home Depot god by scratching the Home Depot sign into the wall of the cell. What is the current color of Noah's fingernails? If they weren't chipped and busted up, they would be, I believe you guys went with the bi and trans flag nails, except for badly done, but Raymond was doing his best. While this is going on, he says, I was afraid for a moment you might have forgotten our appointment. Continues cleaning up your nails, making sure the bit ends aren't all like chipped. Kind of gives you a look like, what are you doing? You decide to say to Raymond, we haven't known each other for very long, but what's going on with you and Noah? Me and Noah have our differences. His grip on your hand is a little bit tighter than you'd like while he's doing the work that he needs to in order to do the custom design that you asked him to just do whatever he'd like. We have our differences. It's not as if he's attempting to actually harm you, but just that he's upset and subconsciously doing it. He has made some mistakes in his life that I feel like he could mend. And until he does so, I don't feel like I can really associate with him. I'm more than willing to do so if he's willing to as well. While he's doing this, he says, this reminds me of a time when I was working once. A woman I was doing some work for died because of some marital-related reasons. She found out that he was cheating, lost her head, spent her entire week with her head in her hands, mostly from him chopping it off with an axe. Mary in the corner decides to go ahead and interject. She says, your stories are always so sad, Mr. Raymond. Why are your stories never nice? Like, I feel like things would be much, much better if just there was like your story from last week. Like your story from last week when I was getting my nails done. The story with the electrician's wife? Yes, the story with the electrician's wife at the party. Well, she really did light up the room. That's exactly what I'm saying, Mr. Raymond. I feel like that if they had... Is this going to be about tea? This is going to be about tea. If they had Lipton's iced tea, this would have been a much, much nicer occasion for them, and everything would have been fine. Is he going to try and keep you over the hour? No. Well, maybe. You have not been here for an hour yet. You've been here for a few minutes. He's stripped away the chipped parts of your nails. He's got them nice and clean and filed down. He's got the paint that you had on them off, and he's getting together some paint. It looks like he's going to attempt to do what he did before, but kind of prioritize one hand to be trans, one hand to be bi, and that way you don't have to, like, do as complex of a thing. But it also looks like he might have little stars available, like little glitter stars. So he might be going somewhere with this. Have you tried talking to him? You can't apologize if you don't communicate, you say to him while he puts on the first coat onto your fingernails. That's where they go. Doing the best he can with the jittery, weird way that he paints nails. I've tried talking to him several times. He just can't listen to reason. He does his thing, and eventually maybe he will see the light. Does it have to do with the curse that makes him eat Justin every so often, or is it something else? He kind of clams up about that and kind of doesn't say anything in response, but seems to nod, continuing to do his work, trying to pass it off as if he's spending a little bit more attention, which, to be fair, his head is flitting around as it does in order to try and, comprehend exactly where your nails are and how to do them. Would it be okay if I talk to Noah about what happened? And is there anything we can do to help mend things with you two? Sure. Tell him I'll be having a barbecue soon. He's invited. In fact, you're invited if you'd like. He's completed one hand, so we'll say that about an hour has passed now. Tell him, let's say, next Sunday? As an aside, Mary has been just kind of chattering to herself for a while. You say, hey, I this is great. I gotta get to church. What time next Sunday? Noah has church normally, and he doesn't eat. So, hey, Mary, I'm going to church. Do you want to come with? And Mary says, no, I think I'm going to go ahead and stay here, and get my nails done. But thank you very much. Interjecting before Raymond can answer any of the questions you've asked, and he says, that's fine. Go ahead and tell Noah that we talked, and just tell him about my offer, and see if he's interested. Next week, next Sunday, sure. How about somewhere between like 8 and 10? He shouldn't be too busy. 8 p.m. Got it. See you there. No. A.m. in the morning. You say, listen, I'll run it by him, but this passive-aggressive stuff about scheduling against the church time frame isn't helping. And if you want to mend things with him, you got to count that out. And, you can just say you don't want to talk to him. He says, oh, I very much want to talk to him. That's the problem. And he knows what the problem is, and that's why I'm inviting him over for a barbecue next Sunday. You don't get to hear some of that, but he blows a kiss, or you blow a kiss, and walk out the door. And with that, you bolt out the door and start running towards church, trying to do your best to slip in through the door to make sure that you don't cause any problems. Your fingernail's still wet from the amount of work that you've done, or that he got done. So one hand is completed. If you were to have it your way, left and right hand, which one would be the bi one and which one would be the trans one? He didn't get the stickers on. The wind will dry them. All right, so bi flag is on the left hand, which means that the right hand would be where he would have been putting the trans flag, which means that it's not done yet, but he did do that. Okay, cool. Church service is going on. The Home Depot employees are here. Basically doing the thing that you were supposed to be doing, sitting quietly in the aisles. It looks like they're about to get into the part where, well, it looks like he's now getting to the part where he's explaining the service today. This is supposed to be an interfaith thing that's going on today. And so they're just the quiet whispers of people coughing, shuffling their feet, flipping through pages, mumbling to themselves. But he goes ahead and speaks. He says, when beset on all sides by enemies, know only enemies. The only enemies that you have are the ones you choose. I was recently given a very nice letter from a friend who pointed out that at times like these, we need friendship. We need to be together. Togetherness is what brings our communities together. Good and evil cannot be equal. Evil must be dealt with in the only way it can be. Let the one you are in a feud with be a friend. you will eventually find that you are surrounded by allies. Forgiveness and kindness are some of the most critical lessons of Jesus Christ. Today we are here to celebrate this act so that strangers can find themselves as friends. I'm going to, in the spirit of today's service, I would like to invite Jim up to the front so that he may provide some words of wisdom as well. Jim gets up from his seat and wanders up to the front. Jim is obviously not like super good at speaking in front of people, but he does his best. Noah, walks away from the podium and he says, "Ich bin Home Depot." A few of the other Home Depot employees say, "Home Depot." Everyone just sort of like sits in silence otherwise. Noah waits for him to continue and realizes that he's not going to, and then Chat says to clap and says Home Depot as well. You don't clap in church. Jim wanders back to his seat. Noah, not quite sure what to do with himself, says, "Wise words." I think at this point we are going to go ahead and do communion. It's a thing that we do in this church. You are welcome to come up to the front if you would like to take communion. I'm going to go ahead and invite you all to do that now. I should ask, let me do a poll real quick. Boop, 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 boop. There we go. You go up to the front to get communion. On the way up, you give Jim a thumbs up. Good job. And you take communion as the music plays from the choir and from the organist. Oh, loud? Sorry, let me turn it down a bit. Here. Is that better? Is that better there? And then everyone's gone and done communion that wished to do so. A little bit of talking afterwards, as is normal. Noah, says, "Thank you all for coming. We will be having cake if you would like to join us in the parish hall." And with that, everyone kind of like files out of church, out of the aisles, to go to the parish hall, which is basically, again, just a room. As far as the Episcopalian tradition is concerned, it's the place you go and get cake after church. Chat seems fairly consistent in their need for cake, so I'm not even going to put it up for debate. You guys go to the parish hall to get cake with Jim and the Home Depot employees and Noah. You told Noah up at the front, like, "Hey, I need to talk to you." He's not a manlet. Noah is just gigantic. You go ahead and get yourself a piece of cake. It's Villanella today. And walk up to Noah, because there were some things that you wanted to address with him. Did you ever mirror inside of the church? I believe you did. I will go ahead and give you the option to go ahead and mirror inside of here. Spinning around with your cake, you survey the church and find nothing amiss. This is acceptable behavior for you because everyone's just sort of understood. Apologize to Noah about being late. Pogger's sermon. So you walk up to him with your cake. You say, "Pogger's sermon, dude. Hey, sorry I'm late. I got caught up talking to Raymond, and he was really insistent that I get my nails done. this morning. I was late because I was talking to him, and can you tell me what's going on between you two? Because it's like he's being really weirdly passive-aggressive about stuff. And he says, Raymond and I don't see eye to eye, and that's fine. He will find his way eventually, and I will continue to do my way as well. Ignoring the poggers bit, I feel like interactions with No require you to ignore the weird shit they do. We've spoke about this in the past, and he's very dead set in his beliefs and his opinions, and I'm very set in my opinions, and I don't believe that there's any... I don't think that there's any common ground for us, unless if he decides to, let's just say, repent and apologize for the things that he's done. I understand that he probably tried to get you in the between us, and that's understandable, and I understand that he's trying to put you in the middle of this as well, but you guys continue to eat your vanilla cake. It's like basically just Randall's cake that they ordered, brought in, and served. It's never anything super fancy. Now and then at church, someone will have gone the extra mile to go ahead and, you know, maybe, I don't know, change things up a little bit. Like maybe someone will actually go and make a pie, especially on like special occasions, like, you know, all those big ones like Easter and Christmas and Palm Sunday, stuff like that. People will actually go out and work on making cake, but most of the time they just buy a cake from like H-E-B or in this case Randall's, because it's the only like grocery store in town. While attempting to have the following conversation, you pull up your cake and put the mirror so that way you can see it and have the conversation with Noah at the same time. The cake appears exactly the same in the mirror. Jim is enjoying his cake over somewhere else, talking to a few other... It's sort of that thing that happens at parties where, like, you go there to, like, hang out with new people, but you don't hang out with new people. You just end up hanging out with your friends. And then you spend the entire party thinking, like, man, I'm really glad that I'm here, like, you know, talking to different people, and then you don't. Anyway, so you tell him, like, hey, we want to help. He invited you over for a barbecue at the same time as, you know, church next week, and I don't know what his deal is. Could you explain specifically what Raymond has done? And he says, I'm sure he did invite you to a barbecue during church. And I don't blame you at all for attempting to be a good person and trying to have a conversation with him and settle our differences. But this is going to have to be between us, and there's not much that I feel like you can really do. I see that he wants to involve you in us. I see that he wants to involve you in our issues, but we don't agree on some very basic things, and I think that at some point it's just okay that some people are not friends. And you ask him, you know, could you specifically explain what he's done? He we want to be friends with both of you, but you see, you're both a little tense, so it's difficult. I would love to be friends with him. I would love if, tell him we can have barbecue at church next week. If he wants to have barbecue, I will gladly have barbecue here at church. Jim kind of like sidles up next to you while you're having this conversation. Chat is poggers, so chat seems happy about this. Can we bring the beer and potato chips? You make a mental note to bring beer and potato chips. Jim sidles up next to you. He says, and makes bites of cake. He says, I figured out what I'm supposed to do. Let's meet at the Home Depot after this. Is that okay? Home Depot. Anything for Jim. Things start to wrap up. So you decide to take a couple pieces of cake for yourself and your friends, and ask Noah, hey, we're headed to Home Depot. Do you want to come? And also, do you know how Justin responds? He shakes his head at both. He says, I need to clean up here, but thank you for the offer. I really should, but we will. Do you know what their day of worship happens to be? I haven't been able to have a full conversation with anyone. Jim has been very nice so far, but I don't know when to meet for service. This is part of what you do with interfaith. And then, all right, so you guys decide that you're going to go ahead and head straight to Home Depot and maybe drop by 7-Eleven afterwards. Anyway, you head over to the Home Depot with Jim and the other Home Depot employees, and we're at Home Depot. You say bye to Noah, you wave, and head out the door with your cake. Everyone's standing around in the plumbing section again. This time, Jim comes in, and he's got a backpack with him, and he starts rustling through it now that you're there as well. And Jim says, I have a plan. Home Depot, the heartbeat of America. He begins pulling out pieces of paper and clipboards with pieces of paper and pencils attached to them, along with walkie-talkies. He starts handing them out evenly, distributing them. Everyone gets one walkie-talkie, everyone gets one piece of paper and pencil. I was thinking, people, things are going missing, but we don't seem to know where or why. I want you all to take notes. Home Depot. America runs on Home Depot. I will be heading to the sewers to see if there is any information that could be gathered there. Please write down, Jim is going to the sewers. Home Depot. Have it your way. Every time he says Home Depot, of course, there's a chorus of other people saying Home Depot. You have a piece of paper and pencil to write this information down on. The other cult is getting the idea, decided to start mentioning other places that they're going. Let's start a note. Let's write this stuff down, actually. So Jim announces that he'll be going to the sewers. Jim, sewers. Another robed man announcing himself named John. I'm really good at names. After saying another slogan, announces that he will be going to the subdivision. Someone named Carol saying Home Depot. Good. Announces that they will be going towards the police station. The circle has come around to you guys. Everyone is dutifully writing the notes down, understanding the idea. I'll go ahead and, just as a freebie, explain what the plan is. As Jim. He says, Based on the recommendations of the manager, it seems as if taking notes is the only way to safely and correctly record information. Our memories are faulted. Home Depot, the quicker picker-upper. By doing this, if anything were to happen to us, we would know where to converge to understand what is happening. Home Depot. When it rains, it pours. I don't know where you would get a camera in a Home Depot. I'm pretty sure they don't sell them. Grocery store cameras, even flip phones have cameras. If that's the case, if a flip phone like Cricket, I think is the name of the cheapo like flip phones you can get, have cameras, we'll say it's like 480p at best. Like, just awful, but like, if you wanted to take a picture just for the sake of remembering things, sure. The dried up riverbed is on the, well, the 7-Eleven is on the way to the riverbed. So the riverbed is that white and pink thing that's going through like the bottom right corner of town there. So that's where it seems like you guys want to go. They have regular cameras. Okay. Well, it seems like it's fairly low down on the list to buy a camera, so I'm going to ignore that option. So you asked Jim why he thinks the sewers and why he thinks that'll help. There doesn't seem to be anything in common with the disappearances. Perhaps the reason we cannot see what is causing it is because it is hiding. Home Depot. Think small. You also explain that you want to go over the journal with everyone, and Jim nods in agreement. I want to buy a camera. I want to buy a camera. You guys don't have money. That is actually a good point that I forgot about. You guys are broke as fuck. Can we just ask Jim? Okay, how about we do that? How about you ask Jim if you can have a camera under the circumstances? And not to steal it, but just ask for a camera. You also explain the mirror thing and how you think that's a thing. Jim explains, I think we should all have mirrors as well. I agree. Mirrors. Home Depot. Obey your thirst. He gives you a digital camera. It's not the nicest thing ever, but it's decent enough. Everyone agrees that you should probably get mirrors. So everyone's currently going to be walking around with mirrors, walkie-talkies, and a piece of paper that explains where you guys are going. And you guys say, all right, I'm going to go to the dried up riverbed. And everyone nods in agreement and writes down, no, river. How many Home Depot cultists are there approximately? Let's say there's like 3 more. Secret date gym route. You still have your vibe, yes. There is a... No, the person is going to the river. You clarify that they need to put no the person. Everyone kind of just looks at each other and goes, okay. Another employee going, saying his name is Fred. You begin to suspect that these might not actually be their real names because they're too, like, common. But regardless, someone saying that their name is Fred says that they are going to be heading down to the Ford dealership. And says, a diamond is forever. Home Depot. Everyone says, Home Depot. We should add ourselves to the journal. Okay. Sure. You guys can add yourself a page into the journal. Do any of the cultists look familiar? You can't see their faces. They're all, like, obscured. Sort of kind of how they are in this image here. Another employee going by the name Jack assesses that he will be going to the apartment complex. And lastly, a baritoned man named Sarah says that he will be going to the city hall. The apartments, not the motel. Correct, yes. We should all go and get mirrors from the dollar store. Dollar store. Home Depot. You're in good hands. Everyone files out of the Home Depot, locking the door behind them. The mirrors that they've got at the Home Depot are like large, like floor-length mirrors, or like ones that you put into, like, I don't know, bathrooms. You don't have like hand mirrors, I don't think. Like, you can't just carry around an entire like floor-length mirror around town. So everyone leaves the Home Depot and heads outside. Remember that you need to ask Sarah their pronouns next time you see them. You have walkie-talkies, you ask Sarah their pronouns. Sarah explains that they go by he, him. It's also very, very likely that everyone lied about what their names were. And is it Sarah or Sarah? I'm going to point out that it does not matter the spelling of their name as long as you remember that Sarah is going to City Hall. We wish to respect... That's fair. That's fair. They still chose the name. Ask them how it's spelled. You pipe up on the walkie-talkie again, saying, "How is Sarah spelled?" There's a brief radio silence as you hear the sounds of a, well, I should have the, okay. Boop, boop. There we go. There's a brief radio silence until you hear someone over the radio go, "Sarah. S-A-R-A. Don't leave home without it. Home Depot." And more radio silence. In the background, you can hear the sounds of a dollar store playing. And with that, you are off to do whatever you feel like doing. See if the digital camera captures the blood by taking a picture through the Home Depot windows. Most digital cameras have mirrors as part of the process. I think that's just for high-end cameras. I'm not sure about that. Either way, it doesn't appear to, no. So you add yourself to your own journal entry, just in case. You wander on over to the riverbed, here represented by the bridge that you're currently standing on. You're looking around, and on your way there, you do go ahead and have a phone call with your parents, or attempt to. You leave a message. They seem to exist. Just say, "Hey, it's no. Just checking in. Sorry, don't call as much as I should. I really oughta. Just, you know. Hey, just call me back when you get a chance. Love you. Bye." And then you hang up. You check the vomit. The vomit has now completely dried. It is just disgusting. It is awful. Like fetid vomit and rotting cake and who knows what else in that. It's just gross. You look out over the railing of the bridge work to see the dried out riverbed. You check out the riverbed. Standard for a regular river in Texas. Texas is known for extreme floodings. It will not rain for long periods of time. And suddenly when it does rain, the ground can't absorb all of the water as much as it's come in, which causes the riverbeds to be carved out fairly extremely, but, you know, safely navigatable. Usually there's, you know, basically a hill down into grass with like a muddy sort of slick down the middle. Mirror, I guess? Sure. You pull out the mirror and see nothing of value. Eat cake vomit and eat vomit both have collectively 13 votes between them. Do not eat the vomit has 47. So I feel like those are mutually exclusive, and you guys decide against your best wishes, against your normal gremlin instincts, to not eat the vomit directly off the bridge that is baked to perfection in the Texas sun. You check the area for the annoying troll cop. You don't see him at his station or at his post. It seems like you're probably safe from him for now. You look for washed up things in the riverbed, and generally just look around the riverbed as well as the bridge for anything with the mirror, and don't see anything particularly out of the ordinary for what you would expect from a riverbed or from a like place where there would be water traditionally. There's just, you know, it's grass. There's grass and trees and saplings that are trying to be a thing. Mirror it. The trees, the grass, the riverbed all appear to be normal. You spend some time just kind of searching the riverbed. So you pull up your walkie-talkie and you say, hey, didn't find anything at the riverbed. You guys find anything? How you doing over there? You check over your list while you're at it to, you know, while you're waiting for a response, and over your journal. Your journal does have one critical missing person in it, and that is also available on your note that you got for some reason. It is currently missing Jim. You have no idea who Jim is, but they're mentioned both in your journal and on this page. You're currently on your way to the 7-Eleven. There we are. The 7-Eleven. So, general consensus is to first and foremost report that is happening. While you're reporting the fact that you do a quick report like, hey, Jim is missing. I don't know who Jim is, but we have it written down that Jim is gone. You let go of the communication thing, and then you dab and cry a little bit. From there, it looks like everyone wants to go to the sewer. So I guess we'll do that. Does anyone see us dab cry? No, you just do it. And you know that in your heart of heart that you've done a dab and cried a tear for your lost comrade, whoever he is. Can we get something to eat at the 7-Eleven? Aren't we broke? Yeah, you are broke, but, you know, also it's entirely possible that Justin isn't in because he gets eaten repetitively. The 7-Eleven appears to be vacant. Justin appears to be gone for now. You throw the mirror up and do a quick spin while waiting for anyone to respond on the radio. You do a quick spin and don't see anything in the parking lot or in the interior of the 7-Eleven. It appears that no blood is here. While you're trying to figure out what you want from the 7-Eleven, you make a quick order, or you get a couple words back. Several other employees have noted the same phenomenon of people going missing, or at least someone named Jim going missing. Everyone's kind of a little bit far away. They've, you know, gone and searched their locations. Fred being the furthest away. The only entrance that they know about is directly in front of the Starbucks in that subdivision there. Sort of right about where you are, so you're kind of the closest person to where you'd want to be. While you're listening to this, you pick up a Slurpee and a pizza slice and down them quickly. Where's that Trader Jack? He's at the apartment complex. That's the kind of U-shaped thing on the right side of the map. How late in the day is it? It's like getting late. You turn around, functionally speaking. You turn around and walk across the street. There's a manhole cover in the middle of the street. It's like slightly ajar. It looks like this is probably where whoever, if anyone, actually went down into the sewers, which, as far as your notes tell you, someone did, and you're aware that this is probably the case. You check with the mirror to see if there's anything about, but you don't see anything, so you seem to be fine. You Naruto run across the street and wait for backup. Naruto runs sadly. There you go. Mirroring did not approach or give you any new information. One of the Home Depot employees shows up and says, "I stopped by Home Depot." He waits as if anyone's going to say Home Depot with him. No one does. he's a little bit sad. Unless if you guys say it with him, in which case he's fine. And says, I picked you up a flashlight. You say Home Depot. Everyone says Home Depot as well. No says Home Depot in response. He's happy about this. Chat is unanimous in saying that they're saying Home Depot. What's their name? You ask them what their name is. You see the person that identified themselves as Carol being talked to by Roger. It's probably best to not be in the area right now, but it doesn't seem like the conversation's going well. This can be Jack. Jack has shown up and says that they dropped by the Home Depot to get you a flashlight and brought one. I like how some people are like, oh, this bastard, fucking Jack. Oh, why did it have to be Jack? Why? Jack was at the apartment complex. Jack was closest outside of the person going to the police station, which is kind of across the street. Jack says to you, I think we should hurry. Everyone else knows where we're going. Everyone write down. We are going no and Jack sewer. A crackled, distorted resonance of Home Depot goes through the lines. You write down that Jack gave you the flashlight, so if he disappears, you can still see with the flashlight. It's not the greatest flashlight ever, but it's a decent enough one. You equip the lead pipe with Bible attached, so that way you have a weapon ready, and you go in with Jack. You say, after you, Jack, allowing Jack to go down first. And in your Sunday best, you crawl down into the sewer system of the town of nowhere. You start heading down the ladder. Deeper in until you reach the bottom. Jack, having gone first, appears nowhere in sight. He must have run off somewhere. You still remember who he is, so that's a good sign. But you turn on the light. This is with the light on. I just sort of skipped that step. This is with the light on. With the light off, it's completely dark, like completely pitch black. There is no map for this section because you don't know and you can't see far enough in any direction to really know where you're going. Dead end behind us, I presume? Yes. The ladder you just came down is there. So looking straight ahead, like if you were to do a 180, you would see the ladder. So you're facing directly down this lane. To your left is this hallway that looks like it branches out to the left further down. And to your right looks like a path that goes much further down and to the right. What do we see if we do a 360? Exactly the same thing. Hold out mirror. To be clear, you pull out your mirror and then turn around so that way you're facing the ladder, but you put your flashlight behind you. What's directly in front of us? Well, now that you've done a like 180, you're facing the ladder, but you're looking through the mirror to be able to see the mirror stuff. You see no blood here. Did Jim bring a flashlight? He must have. We need to specify directions. Can we hear first for something? Check both sides with the mirror. Sure. To the left and to the right, you see nothing of value. Do we have phone reception? Approximately how deep down did you go? A decent amount. Like, probably about, 10, 15 feet. We must keep track of our directions gone, so that way if we need to bail, we don't get lost. Exactly. I would recommend that you guys try and make a map of what I'm explaining here. Can we check our notes every time we make a move? Yes. Totally. Alright. So, with a majority of the votes, straight appears to be the correct answer for now. So continuing down the road, or the path, straight. The path continues forward more, having a slight bend forward. To be super clear about how you're doing this, by the way, the only way you can see through the mirror is if you're walking backwards with your flashlight over your shoulder, so that way you can see. Slight bend to the left. We need a chart. Just imagine you had... So, to be clear, you're under the streets of the town of Nowhere. If you superimpose what I'm explaining over the map, you should have a decent idea of where you are relatively. Is the sewer like slick? Is it hard to run? There's definitely water flowing through it. Yeah. It looks like you decide to continue going straight. You're met with another crossroads. This one takes a sharp right. You're entered from around the salon, yes. Can you still talk to the Home Depot folks down here? Sure. Do we know who Jack is? Right. You're checking your map. You do not know who Jack is. You don't know how you got this flashlight. You must have brought it with you. So you contact the other cultists on the Home Depot, or the walkie-talkie, and you say, hey, I think we lost Jack. I have no idea who that is. They, you know, went down in the, they went down into the sewer with me, and I don't know where they went. You get a response from someone saying, Home Depot, I'm on my way. The best a man can get. Home Depot. Another walkie-talkie reveals just Roger chewing someone out and then cutting out. You say, I'm gonna keep moving forward. I'll let you know if anything happens. Don't come down here. Do you guys want them to come down here or not? Tell them, do not come down here. Something is down here. It is not safe. Please write this down. You decide to progress forward more into the labyrinth that is the sewer system. You black out for a second and wake back up. You feel like you've just been launched out of a airplane. You have no idea what just happened. Suddenly, it gets very, very loud and very, very quiet.
We really shouldn't do that. It's not good for you.
I'll see you tomorrow morning. Stay out of sight, especially out of your own sight. I don't know what would happen. I don't know if it would be good. And with that, he disappears again, leaving you to slowly regain your surroundings. You do not feel well. You do not feel well at all. You check the mirror. There's absolutely nothing here. It's just a shitty back alley somewhere. Look at self. You look like shit. You look like you threw up. Like, you do not feel good right now. Your wellness is set to 5 out of 100. You are not feeling good right now. I'm gonna say, like, you cannot do complex actions right now. You are not doing okay. You're not feeling okay. That was a lot. Status of memory and possessions. You remember, you are not, like, imagine the feeling of someone, like, let's say you're on a plane, and someone just decides to start playing with the door. Like, the door to the plane entirely. Like, opening and shutting rapidly. You feel like that has happened to you for the last whatever the fuck just happened. In addition to everything else, like, you are not okay. Your memory is, like, kind of fuzzy right now, but you're okay. You're alive, in the very least. Barely. You don't feel good. You check the time and date on the phone. It is somehow Saturday. I'm going to go ahead and change the date on the thing. It's also somehow also early in the morning. You look at the notebook. All of these names seem familiar. Like, you know pretty much everyone. You praise Home Depot for saving your soul. You feel your body for damage. Yeah, you're fucked up. You're not okay. Saturday? Saturday, like, double checking the date, like, at least a week ago. But that doesn't seem right. Do you remember Christopher and the like? You do. Somehow you do. It doesn't feel right to be able to remember them. Like, your head hurts. A lot. Do we know our sister? Check our phone. You do not know your sister. Eat cake. You don't have the cake anymore. A majority of the possessions you were just holding are gone. Which ones? You can assume that everyone that you've put in your journal is someone you know, but also you have no idea who your sister is still. No, which items? Anything that was in the backpack is fine. The walkie-talkie... Oh, fuck. Would you have the walkie-talkie on you? Sure. Walkie-talkie, flashlight, and mirror are good. Are her nails still okay? You're... No? Like, none of you is okay. Your wellness is at 5. Imagine being thrown down the stairs while someone's slamming the door on an, like, plane at 50,000 feet. Like, no, you're not okay. They're dry now. Sure. For specific damages, are her nails still painted? Yes. You have the buy flag on your left hand and your right hand is not painted. Are we bleeding? You don't see any blood. All of the blood is inside you, which is where it's supposed to be. Check for specific damages on your body. Just, you know, you're okay. Like, you'll live. You don't have any, like, exterior, like, major damages. You have a few scrapes and bumps, and you obviously aren't doing all right. Like, your clothing is screwed up. Like, you should not go to church in what you're wearing right now. Like, you do not look great. You decide to, like, slowly, like, work your way towards the end of this back alleyway that you seem to be in. You check around the corner and you hear a bus coming to a stop. Around the corner, you end up seeing someone getting off the bus. It's you. You don't remember seeing yourself, but you duck around the corner as that other you starts looking at the map. And you just start vibing out on the floor. It's It is someone who looks like you. You're honestly really feeling this vibing out on the floor thing. Like, that's pretty good. That's pretty much where you're at physically right now. Running is not a thing you can do right now. Laying on the floor is something you're incredibly apt at doing right now. You were coming off of the bus and checked your map. And after you, as you noticed that the other you was checking the map, you decided to hide. Because everyone in chat was like, don't get seen. Avoid going to the motel until the date and time that we last checked it after getting detained. Planning more than, I don't know, any amount of time out right now is pretty rough. Like, imagine being thrown down the stairs, standing up, and then throwing yourself down another set of stairs. Just do that for a bit. Do that for like a solid 4 or 5 minutes. And then, you know, see if any of these decisions that you guys are trying to do make any sense. Is the garlic still on us? Yes. There's garlic in your bag. Do we still look hot? No, actually you don't. You don't look good at all. You want to go to the Home Depot and get a disguise. That's not happening. That cannot happen right now. You physically cannot move right now. Like, moving much right now is just not a thing. You decide to instead avoid go to the motel. That's a thing you can do. Avoiding moving somewhere is good. Avoiding going anywhere is a great plan right now. Start writing down where you are and when you were the rest of the time in town. You start taking extensive notes about where you were. You try and think. It's hard. It's not something that you do sometimes, and when you do, it's rough. You cry a bit. The person has gone. Sex appeal is outdated. Yes, it is. I should probably drop that. How about minus 50? There you go. You decide you want to take a picture of the person, but you can't. Like, getting up right now. You're just going to lay here for a bit. Do you dab? Sure. You do you cry dab. You just kind of, like, lay on the floor for a bit, writing down information about stuff. You hear someone say, "Fuck you," from the other side of the building, or something to that effect, and the jingle of a door opening and shutting. Do you remember forgetting? You remember forgetting some people, like Christopher. Christopher seems like a name. Christopher seems like someone you know. Jim? Jim? Maybe? Maybe. Hard maybe on Jim. Memories coming back? Yeah? Like, names are starting to come back. Instead of attempting to do anything, you decide to have a mental breakdown. It seems fit. And despite not having a great deal of energy, it's kind of just what you're feeling right now. Like, you're really about that right now. Just kind of having a mental breakdown. So you do that for a bit. Just kind of laying in the back alley of a Starbucks, having a mental breakdown. You slowly start to breathe and try and compose yourself. And just decide to sleep here for the night. Because that's about where you're at. And I think you'll find that's where we're going to call it for the night. Bull.